Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Mitrou Project. My name is Daskalos, and I'm a professional archaeologist and certified interpretive guide. And you're probably looking around and thinking, we're a little less blocky this time, and that's because we're going to be taking a break from Minecraft to work on our second proof of concept. That's right, buckle up. It's going to get a little weird.
Three, two, one, go.
Daskalos?
Is this Blender? Yeah.
That's right. Draw-free reference and a Deep Blue Ink reference for you. And yes, that is Blender. So let's see what I get up to. Alright, so as we start off here, I just want to apologize. I've been sick the last couple of days, so my voice is just a little weird, but we're going to persevere. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm setting up walls. And what are these walls for? Well, they are for a Megaron. Sorta. It's actually a smaller version of a Megaron, more of a hearth room than anything else. The inside measurements are going to be 4 meters by 8 meters, which just so happens to align with a room that I'm trying to get this to fit into. Now, as you can see here, once I imported the human model, I realized that the human model was not actually to size, so I started screwing around with the walls, and anyways, yeah, it just ended up not working out. So I get the human out of there once I have everything all set up. Originally, I had just a plane for the floor, but I didn't like that. I decided to go with a more conventional floor, just like the rest of the building. Now, as you're looking at this, you're probably noticing that the outside looks like absolute garbage. And the thing to remember with this is that the outside does not matter. I'm not interested in what the outside looks like. What is important is what the inside looks like. The inside is what is going to be the thing that you see. You're never going to be on the outside of this building looking in. It's all going to be inside. Now these are the nodes that I'm using to texture the walls. I'm going to use these nodes for the walls, the pillars, the wood beams, everything. Everything is going to have a texture to it. I wanted to go for photorealistic, but to be honest with you, this is just a proof of concept. We're not going to go too crazy detailed with it. We're going to wait until we get into the regular project, the final project, before we get a little crazy with it. Now, in case you were wondering what I'm using for materials on this, The floor is a rammed earth texture. Not to say that the floor of the real thing would have been rammed earth, but it just looks good. It's got that sort of brownish, reddish color to it, a little bit of texture. The walls are going to be plaster, and I'm using, I think, a smooth plaster, or sort of a semi-smooth plaster. The door is going to be a peeling wood, and this threshold here, along with the sill above the door, the lintel, I guess, whatever you want to call it, those are going to be sort of a old, beat up wood is what it's going to look like. You'll see. It looks pretty good. It comes out really well. And now I'm throwing the roof beams in. You can see it's got that rough wood texture to it, which actually came out really, really well at the end. I'm just rotating around so they don't all have the same texture looking at you. They're all different textures, but it's all the same map on there. So my choice for textures here is a little different than what you would expect. The roof got a stucco texture, which just looks good in my opinion. And these pillars that are going to be supporting the beams of the roof, which would have been made out of wood, more than likely, are actually going to get a sort of a terracotta color and texture. Sort of like they were plastered over with like a thin layer of plaster. Again, I'm not shooting for historical accuracy. What I'm shooting for is the experience. The historical accuracy will come at the end with the final project. As you could see, the walls were transparent, and that drove me absolutely up the walls. That, of course, was not a pun, but it took me forever to figure out why the walls were transparent, and I finally figured it out. If you ever have that same problem when you're in Blender, check your alpha levels. My alpha level was at like 50% or something like that, or 0.5 or whatever, and that's why you could see through the walls. I don't know why it was like that. It just was. So, anyways, I fix it later. You'll see. I did screw around with this weird little donut thing for a long time, trying to get this like plastered look, like this plastered edge around it, and I decided to just ditch it because it was obnoxious. Anyways, the hearth here looks fine. It ends up looking just fine without the little donut, even if it isn't historically accurate. It's still looking pretty good. And I'll tell you right now, I had an absolute blast screwing around with this program. I thought that I was going to have a real problem with like getting things figured out and manipulating things, but no, it's great. I could see myself just spending hours building stuff in this program. And what is a hearth room without its throne thingy, I guess? A lot of people call it a throne. It's really just a chair built into the wall there. But yeah, I figured I'd add this in there for a little bit more, you know, feeling to it, a little more immersion. Yeah, looking good. So let's do a quick walkthrough. This, of course, is the unrendered version. This is, you know, without shadows or anything. But still, looking pretty good. At least I think so. But I'm biased. Alright, there you have it. A small Megaron. A mini Ron, I guess. And you're probably wondering what's next. Well, that's simple. We need to get it over into VR.